In a world wrought with struggle and strife, a world rich with beauty and grandeur, a world where peril lies around every corner, a world of casting and pony. One group steps up to share the perspective of the masses in this, the World of Warcraft. We are Ponecast, the voice of the players.
You have crossed into the world of the dead in search of answers.
Welcome back. You are listening and or watching Ponecast. This is episode 53, and we are in patch 6.1.2. I am your very efficient Warlock host, Belle. I may or may not have had a very strong energy drink. I do apologize in advance for if I talk really fast. I did also bring the... shameless plugs. We're not even sponsored with them. I did also bring the Riders of Rohan with me. I did bring the mage who brain freezed himself with a snow cone from the Ice Cream Man, Frieza.
Oh, yeah. That's the only enjoyment I get in this world anymore. No, it's good to be back. Good to be back with you guys and see everybody up and at it. And happy to be here.
Doing the thing. We're alive and kicking.
It's true.
I did also bring the Death Knight who replaced his Army of the Dead with all of his daughter's sleepover friends.
It was fun. They she, like I said, she dinged level 10 about a week and a half ago, and we had a big sleepover last night. But I was able to survive, fortunately. And
during the raid, he's whispering things like "Help me." All the teenage girls.
I was wondering why you were so quiet last night.
It was hilarious. I couldn't even take it.
they were all in the other room.
I didn't envy him at all. I'm like, well, good luck with that. I'm going to go do stuff, so have a good night.
Bye.
I did also bring the rogue who used his vanish to watch Frieza shower. Hots for shots.
Oh.
I mean, it was pretty interesting. And, while it was cloaked, and I smoked bombs so nothing could go in or out.
Whoa!
You didn't see me getting out of the shower.
I don't know what
you want to say.
that specifically means, in or out. It's kind of weird. I thought that was part of the natural process, but
We're going to be spending a lot of time together at BlizzCon, and this is really beginning to scare me.
it's kind of a,
Hey, I'm already waiting to rub that head of yours.
that's kind of scary.
Oh, yeah.
To go in line with that, we were waiting until we were for sure. We did, us and Wrathion, which most of our viewers and listeners know that Wrathion is the founder of the World of Warcraft's first and only free public event, which they also have a TeamSpeak now. Wrath and Ponecast will be hosting Blizz Nerds Dinner, which Blizz Nerds Dinner is an annual dinner. You do purchase tickets to the dinner, which the second batch of tickets goes on sale in May, and we'll make sure that we put that on the Facebook page for those of you that want to come hang out. We're going to be providing the entertainment, which is scary, really, because Frieza was told he can't bring his pole for pole dancing. So not really sure. Frieza is going to be going to BlizzCon. We're working on acquiring him a ticket. Hopefully we'll have that acquired by June, but he did decide to bite the bullet where the flying is concerned. He might fly, he might take a boat, he might take a train. We don't really know how he's going to get there, but he is going to be going, so we're pretty excited. But for those of you that are interested that are going to BlizzCon, it's going to be the night before BlizzCon starts, so it's the 5th, and we will put that information up. The first batch of tickets already sold out, so the second batch will be going on sale. It's at the Antebellum, which is a hotel. It's poolside. It's beautiful. There's going to be, a buffet with hors d'oeuvres and giveaways and raffles, and then, of course, us fine folks as entertainment. So if you want to come hang out with us, we'll post that up for you guys to get involved in that.
We're going to have to act respectfully, aren't we?
Well, I asked if I could say all of my standard swear words, and I was told that I can as long as I limit myself. And I did ask if I had to dress fancy, because you guys know I'm not a fancy dresser. My husband suggested I wear a pantsuit because that's about as fancy as I get. So I don't really know.
Fancier than I get.
But that's pretty exciting for us as a team. We're pretty happy that that's going to be a thing. So the news this week, there was not a whole ton of news. So the good news is we have a lot of good stuff packed in. We got an excellent lore section from Lycan and some other stuff. Big news was the World of Warcraft movie was pushed back to June 10th of 2016, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And that's only like a 3-month difference because it was originally slated for March, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did a little bit of research, and the company, which is, I don't remember the company. It might be Sony. I'm not sure.
Legendary Films.
Well, there's whatever the main company is that's handling that. There was actually 5 movies that were pushed back as far as release, and for a number of reasons. But I think the contention was they felt like this World of Warcraft movie is going to be so huge that it needed to be a summer release blockbuster, which, I mean, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that. The longer they take, the
I'm
better.
not okay with that.
I agree. The longer they take, the better, because that just means we're going to get something that's amazing because they had more time to do it.
It gives them more time to kind of like rework with, or like work with it, make sure every little fine detail's okay. But now we have to wait for the little, like 15-year-old kid who just started playing. I'm like, ma'am, I would rather not have all the kids there on opening night. Just saying.
As much as we get on Blizzard, though, they have never put out anything earlier than they have wanted to.
It's true.
I mean, look at Burning Crusade.
Hold on.
Burning Crusade.
Hold on. Wait. Draenor.
Well,
that was released before they were ready and they knew it, right?
Well, they kind of needed to at that point.
I
Like,
They needed to.
I agree. I mean, that's not a
But
complaint,
look,
but I
but
mean,
look at Burning Crusade. Burning Crusade, they pushed it back, and they actually missed that holiday season just because they wanted to get a couple more things done. So if it's going to take a couple more months to do it, let them do it.
I got some interesting stuff. Nothing to do with World of Warcraft, but it has to do maybe with it. Back when Halo 2 was announced to come out and it didn't come out on time, it was 3 months delayed. And it was 3 months delayed because one of the creators put a picture of his butt inside the game somewhere, and it took him 3 months to find it. Yeah, because he quit, and he put a picture of the butt in there. They took 3 months to find it, so they had to postpone the game for 3
that's
months.
pretty legit. I mean, butts
So
in games.
I don't doubt that any of this stuff happens. Like, we're going to have to postpone the game for a month because
There's a butt.
there's a butt somewhere. We got to find it.
That's amazing.
I found that funny. I found that over the weekend. That was pretty interesting.
That's so funny. We're hoping to see some kind of preview soon, some kind of trailer. Hopefully when that happens, nerdgasms all over the world are going to unite together for a common bond. But, I mean, if it's going to be pushed back, it's not a huge deal. I mean, sometimes stuff happens, and to get a better quality, I don't have a problem with that.
it'll be lavender-scented lotion.
Somebody's an asshole. Leave my toilet paper alone. So there was a few things with the PTR coverage last week that I had kind of glanced over and forgot to mention, and I wanted to make sure that that I did mention that. There was talk about a new loot for bonus rolls for Hellfire Citadel, which makes sense when you think about it, because a lot of people were saying, well, can't I just bank my Seals of Tempered Fate, especially if I'm already cleared Mythic? It's not going to be a thing. The loot to be able to use the bonus roll in Hellfire Citadel is called the Seal of Inevitable Fate. There have been lots of jokes about I'm going to roll this and all I'm going to get is gold, but no news on how you're going to acquire it. I looked very extensively today to try to find out if there had been any changes since this was posted. I have not seen anything on how you're going to be able to acquire it, but if you're going to try to bank your Tempered Fate, it's not going to get you anywhere. So there's going to be a new bonus.
Seal of inevitable gold.
And it is, for those of you who don't know, Hellfire Citadel naturally is inside Tanaan Jungle. It's actually in the center of Tanaan Jungle. It's the heart of what makes Tanaan Jungle all go about. With that, there have been several wonderings and rumblings over people not being aware of how you're going to get into Tanaan Jungle. Unfortunately, you're going to have the shipyard. It's going to be the only way you're going to get in there. So if you're one of those people that dislikes your garrison, don't want to do anything to it, you're going to have to at least have the garrison, or the shipyard. You can only have the shipyard if you have a level 3 garrison. So do your work now so that you can be ready.
The garrisons are optional.
Well, no, they're definitely not if you want to go to Tanaan Jungle. So if you don't have a level 3 garrison because you're one of the people that's rebuked it, just make sure you work on it to get your level 3, get the shipyard so that you can get the quest.
Getting a level 3 really isn't that hard.
No, it's not. It's not.
You don't have to really do anything. Just log in every few days and collect freaking 500 garrison resources.
The thing that I thought was cool about the shipyard is the cache things that you get for Hellfire Citadel loot, like you would the High Mall cache and the Blackrock Foundry cache. You actually are going to be getting the raid loot from the shipyard itself missions. You're not going to be getting them from the regular garrison missions, which is kind of cool. They're kind of making you do the garrison thing with your shipyard. So if you're not interested in it, in order to be able to get the gear, missions and all that stuff, they're kind of changing the way some of the subjects are done. So if it's this specific raid, you're going to go through your shipyard, which I'm assuming because Tanaan Jungle, you're arriving on a boat, you're coming in to kill shit, we're ready, we're here to fuck shit up, like basically is what happens. Yeah. So they're using the shipyard as a means to bring all the boys to the yard, as far as that's concerned. More to be more to be developed as we continue looking in that. I did step in PTR for a few things. I haven't really finished some of my research, so in the ongoing episodes for Bell's Bites, I'll make sure that I have information from a PTR aspect of what stuff is looking like. Children's Week starts Monday and goes into May 3rd. There's one change with the balloon that actually is a toy now instead of maybe it was a pet previously. I didn't really do Children's Week because that we all know how I feel about abusing orphans. But if you need the What a Long Strange Trip It's Been, you're going to have no choice but to get your Children's Week crap done. So go in and abuse some orphans by taking them through death and dismemberment and eating in front of them. So make sure make sure you support.
Whatever your child's like, I'm just like.
Nothing says I want to support Children's Week and making sure that children are the forefront of our brains. Like, let's abuse children is what I feel like that's happening. Not necessarily child abuse, but not proper treatment.
Is it really child abuse if it's not your own kid?
Well, that it does factor into.
I tell my nieces and nephew that every time I beat.
It's kind of like one of those legal lines where you don't really know which side you fall on. But it's,
Well, there was that Louis C.K. bit where he talks about he was at a swimming pool with his daughter, and his daughter was riding on his arm swimming, and then his daughter let go, and another random kid hopped onto the arm. And he shook it off like if it was a rodent.
Oh.
He was like, I don't know you, I don't love you, I don't care if you drown. It's like, get off my arm. It's like I have no feeling to save you.
I don't even have words for that.
I thought that was pretty funny.
It'd be a lot different if you could just I'm a rogue and I see some kid or some guy escorting this kid through a battleground and just go up and be like backstab on the child and then run away. Other than just killing him.
I kill enough orc bodies to walk over. I need some softer padding. Can we go and backstab the orc children?
I can't deal with you guys. I can't even deal with it. The only other thing news related, and then we can get into the weeks in WoW and the different segments that we have. The only thing news related that was funny to me is this whole Left Shark situation.
That is awesome.
I'm requesting that Left Shark is our entertainment, our closing ceremony for BlizzCon.
Can somebody explain to me why this is great? I'm not.
Do you know the story behind Left Shark? Okay. During the halftime show, Katy Perry went up her and did her whole thing where she was accompanied by all these people dancing. The shark to the left of the screen totally missed his dance cue and was totally dancing by himself. Just out of sync to everybody else.
He looked good though.
He did. He was busting it up, but. Yeah, before the Super Bowl even ended, it was already an internet meme.
Do you see the look on my face?
Yeah.
So the community is all excited about a Left Shark that was on a Katy Perry halftime show in football, to which a lot of us don't watch football, myself included.
Oh, I love that football, and I love that halftime show. It was great watching it.
What about the? Good for Blizzard. If the people love it, I love it.
I saw that shark up there, man. He was going.
He is a pet now, and he does have the dancing ability.
I have not bought any of the pets. I'm buying that one.
Yeah, I didn't know this. This is awesome.
I want to see what this thing looks like. I want it to look like that cartoonish shark that they had up. I think it would
dance like.
Well, he does. There's some abilities, and one of them is the dance ability. So I'm assuming.
And see, what's really cool about it is that I think that Blizzard has equated Left Shark to the Iron Horde to gingers, because it says, "Who would leave such a cute shark behind?" The Iron Horde truly has no soul.
My husband would likely agree with you. He really doesn't have a soul. He gets mad when we say that, but it's pretty funny.
You mean he gets mad? He ginger snaps.
Bad.
I have not used that on him.
No, that was really cheesy.
I love that.
For my Bell's Bites, the only thing I had this week, and I'll have more good stuff next week, I've been kind of extended for time this week, is I was leveling, when I say I was leveling my monk, I was just sticking around, really. My monk heals. So, me, Zarth, actually Zarth wasn't in this one. I've been making Zarth tank for me, because he's one of those tanks that pulls every stuff, so he's teaching me how to be a better healer by giving me a heart attack every 5 seconds. Me and Brutum were minding our own business in this dungeon. I might have always seen these things, but not noticed. Now, I knew there were bots in arenas. I knew there were bots in BGs, and I know bots are a thing. I have never encountered a bot in a dungeon situation, although I might have and maybe didn't realize it and just thought they were a bad tank. So the tank was a bot. Here's how we know the tank was a bot. He's running, he gets caught on something, and before he resets back to his trail, he's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And Brutum's like, that's a bot. And I'm like, what do you mean that's a bot? I don't understand. She's like, that's a bot. When they do that back and forth, that's because they're resetting. So in doing this, I start to wonder, what's the situation with this bot? We tried to contact this bot, and we were like, please confirm that you're not a bot. Never responded. He died. I tried to send him a res. He didn't res. Instead, he actually clicked to go through and run back all the way through the instance instead of clicking my res, which was kind of weird because most people are lazy. So this botting situation, I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about cheating while leveling. I've never been involved in any of those things, so naturally I wouldn't know. Apparently there's this add-on called Honor Buddy. This add-on is an add-on that you pay for. I'm sure you could get snaked versions of it, whatever. But this add-on is a series of scripts that will allow you to solo quest. It does it for you. You just have to watch it. You can also do dungeon runs. Does it for you. You just have to watch it. Here's my take on things. Although it is a violation of your terms of service and your use, it's to each his own. You want a bot, you do your bot thing. I have a problem when it affects my gameplay. When you have a bot in a situation that I'm in, me and you are not going to be friends because you're pissing me off. Mm-hmm. Do your thing. If you want to use it as a questing tool and to level while you're working, or maybe you have newborns, or maybe you have a bunch of sheep in your house and you can't get to your computer, whatever, that's fine. Use your botting for your solo questing. But when you start using bots in fucking dungeons and my gameplay is affected because we're dying every 5 minutes because your bot doesn't know how to tank, I was really upset by this, to the point where I'm like, all botters must die. Seriously, if you guys are botting and you're doing botting that's affecting other people's gameplay, you really shouldn't be doing that. That sucks. I mean... Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't know.
Well, no, you would have to know. If you're a gamer, you would have to know that if your shitty tank who's botting is doing the run, there are unforeseen things that happen. Now, I do know that they have to sit relatively close to their computer to watch it because they need to fix issues, whatever the case may be. But my question is, if you're a person that's using a bot, why would you use a bot in a dungeon? Why would you affect other people's gameplay?
If you're using a bot, why don't you go get another life? Real life, go do something else, because obviously it's weird to me. It's weird to me because that's just weird. I'm gonna play a game I don't want to play no more, so I'm gonna have a bot play it for me.
I see why they do it on a level.
Why even play it?
I
no, I don't see it at all. I don't see it at all. It's BS. No other game has done this. It's BS. Blizzard should be on top of all this.
It lets them level. I understand the level aspect of it. If you don't have time to level, like I'm a person.
No, that's freaking man. No. Come on, man. I've been playing video games since I was a little kid, man. You're telling me that's acceptable?
It's just
that's ridiculous.
I'm not saying it's acceptable. I'm saying the reason people use
There's no reason to do that. People need to get a life. That's what they need to get.
Uh-oh.
I have.
He's getting closer. He's getting closer.
Yeah, he screwed back for a little bit. No, I have mixed feelings about this. One, it's probably a crappy bot, because I've seen a lot of people bot that have really good bots and they don't die ever. It actually knows how to use the proper cooldowns, this, that, the other. But at the same time, on the same boat with Fiza, I don't understand why you would want to level, just go play another game. Stop playing WoW if it's that dead to you that you don't even enjoy leveling for a class that you want. You don't get any fulfillment. It's like, oh, I want to just go PvP now, so I'm going to level.
I was told that people that sell accounts are typically the ones that use the leveling bots in their majority. There might be a few scattered people who use them as a means to help them level for whatever their reasons are, but I was told in my research that the majority of the people that use them are account sellers, people that level tunes specifically to sell them to other people. You give me so much USD and I'm going to give you a level 100 tune that you didn't have to level. Obviously, there's a lot of moral issues that I have with this, but it's for everybody. That's their own shit, their own situation to deal with, whoever likes to do that. So I think that the majority of the botters, as far as leveling goes, are probably people that are using it as a means for commerce. However, if you're a botter and you're listening to this, please don't put your shitty bot in my fucking dungeon and interrupt my gameplay. I'm a healer and I'm trying to learn how to properly heal a dungeon so that I don't kill people, and your shitty tank, that bots can only take you so far. I'm sure bots are wonderful. Bots cannot account for every single thing that happens in a situation because it's improv. It happens on a whim. Somebody does this, they're not going to always have, when this does this, you do A or B, because sometimes there's no A or B. Sometimes you got to fucking do plan C on that because there's no A or B. But if you're a botter, this is my personal message to you. Please do not put your bots in dungeons. If you feel like you want to use bots, that's all for you. Do it in a place that does not disrupt others' gameplay. Do it if you want a solo quest and use that as a bot means. That's your situation. I'm not judging you. I'm asking you to not put your stupid bots in my dungeon so that I can learn how to be a proper healer and not have to deal with bots who don't respond to me, because that sucks. That's all I wanted to say for Bell's Bites is the bot thing. I mean, you know, that's pretty much it for mine. Somebody said to us on Twitter that the show seems to be us doing nothing but bitching, which obviously they haven't heard the episode either in its entirety, nor do they even pay attention to the episodes that we do, because we're actually pretty 50-50. A lot of us are for and a lot of us are against, and we're pretty even in the things we like and dislike. And I kind of was a little offended that it was like said that it was kind of a bitch fest. That's gaming, bro. What fucking game are you playing? That's gaming. Right. What game are you playing?
Hello Kitty.
Everything's unicorns and rainbows to you. No, it's not unicorns and rainbows.
Kitty, Island Adventure.
Have you logged into the forums within the last, I don't know, 3 days and taken a look at any of the posts? Come on.
Literally.
In the last hour.
Literally ever. If you logged in the post, ever.
But, I mean, clearly you're not playing WoW, because not everything is sunshine and rainbows. There's stuff that sucks, and there's stuff that we struggle with as players, and that's part of what makes us gamers. Not everything is wonderful. There are a lot of things that's wonderful, don't get me wrong. I have a transmog that is epic, and that is wonderful to me. Side boob, for real. But there's a lot of things that we don't like as gamers and a lot of things we do. Guess who gamers are? They're a bunch of people that sit around and bitch about stuff they don't like and they always want more. Welcome to being a real gamer.
And that's what's so I'm going to kiss Blizzard's ass on this. That's what's so wonderful about this game. I am so tied up into my character, Lycan. You know, my DK is, you know, when they make a nerf on them, I go through the friggin' roof because I'm so pissed.
You get emotional.
Like you got it personally.
Mm-hmm.
But and that's why we take it. That's why we do these quote unquote bit sessions that people don't, you know, some people don't like. I wish we could call names out, but I was told we're not allowed.
Oh.
But you know, that's why we get so upset about this. When they make a nerf to a class, or they make a nerf to or a change to content that we've loved. You know, when Cataclysm. Oh my God, when I came through and destroyed half the world, people threw a fit. You know, but we love the game, and that's why we get so attached to our characters.
We give credit where credit's due. If credit's needed, we give it. If there's stuff we like it. But at the end of the day, most of us are pretty much in touch with the way the community feels. Very rarely does our views not reflect the mass community or a majority or at least 50% of the community. I mean, everybody has their own opinion. The thing about this specific instance, which really upset me on Twitter, is because he said he listened to a few episodes, and I don't really believe that to be accurate. Because I even went back a few episodes and replayed to see if there was something that had given the impression. Odds are they didn't listen to the whole show, and they just listened to pieces and parts of rants instead of listening to what we provided.
They probably heard when we started ranting on something and just ended the episode.
Yeah, and you know, that happens. But here's the thing. We're not the only podcast that does it. Every podcast does it. So, I mean, that's free for everybody to have their opinions, but understand that our job isn't for everything to be magical and pretty. It's to give you the real talk. It's to give you what people aren't telling you. We're not sugarcoating. We're giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's what we've always been about. And we're not changing for anybody because we don't have to. You guys love who we are. If you're watching and listening, you love us, and we're happy to continue ranting for you. It's not all rants, though.
Also, with us bitching, obviously it's not bad to the point where we're gonna quit WoW.
True.
Like,
I mean,
yeah.
we all every 5 minutes we're quitting, but we don't ever quit because we love WoW.
Yeah, like I fucking hate this cake. Oh, you know, like
that's me every day. God, I hate the salted caramel.
I hate this cake. I hate this cake.
If we don't bitch about something that we don't like, then they don't change it. So it continues to happen. So we end up quitting about it anyways. So
and in a game like this, you're never going to be happy. Nobody's ever going to be. Blizzard's never going to do anything where everybody's 100% on board and happy with everything. That never happens in life. That's like all my kids liking what I make for dinner. There's always one that doesn't like it.
Well, this is the only video game I've ever played that actually listens to people.
Agreed.
Only video game. I mean, I know they are going to start doing that now. I realize that. League of Legends, StarCraft. I believe. Yeah, they have now. In 2014, 2015, I started listening to the people. But in all the games on the consoles, that's the game. When it comes out, there's nothing changing that's going to come out. That's it. And just quick sniping, guess what? Just quick sniping for a year, and there's nothing you can do about it.
The thing to realize is World of Warcraft's very emotional. It's one of those games where because you played it for an extended period of time, you get very invested emotionally in your situation, your class, your spells.
Oh, yeah. I believe
your rage, your PvP. Everything's very emotional. So
it goes with anything. With any hobby that you pick. If you were a bowler for 20 years and they decided that balls that automatically spin by themselves were not going to work no more, that'll piss you off.
You'll rage, and you'll probably rage. Yeah.
They change the balls in tennis, and they do stuff like that. It's identical to all that, but it's just that this is a video game, and I guess you're not supposed to complain.
Agreed.
But what are you supposed to do?
We're doing it anyway. If you don't like, the opinions that we have,
it's cool.
That's totally
it's cool.
We can all have the different opinions, and it be okay. That's what makes us humans. But on another level, I got the StarCraft 2, the new expansion beta yesterday.
Nice.
I don't even know what it is. I downloaded it. I haven't checked it out, but I got a thing said you're part of the beta, and I was like, what?
Now you're gonna make me go check.
It's something age of something. I'm not a StarCrafter, so if any of you guys are StarCrafters and you know what I'm referring to, feel free to email me to help me. Because I don't know anything about StarCraft, but I am going to check it out just to see what it's about. But I did get.
I don't play it for myself. I stay away from that game.
It looks kind of cool, but kind of weird. It looks like a mixture of WoW and.
No,
Heroes of the Storm?
Don't say WoW.
No, it looks like a mixture of WoW and Heroes of the Storm, meaning WoW in some aspects and Heroes of the Storm in visuals. But I don't really know anything about it.
I got mine too.
It's StarCraft is the original Warcraft. Think RTS, real-time strategy. Yeah.
Well, I don't know anything about that.
StarCraft is phenomenal, amazing, hardcore, but I decided in my life not to do it no more. I decided not to do StarCraft.
I'm actually going to stop, in BlizzCon, I'm going to stop by one of their
I'm going to check it out and do the same.
Panels, because I haven't seen an RTS played in so long.
It's a Blizzard
game.
Take my money.
Right, shut up. Yeah. Take my money. Okay, with that said, we're going to go ahead and move on to the lore section. We have a fantastic lore section. I promise not to interrupt, as does everybody else. I'm actually going to mute and save any comments until after his section because it's a really good section.
Okay, it is very good. It's something that I actually got a couple emails, a couple questions on. Some people asked me, say, hey, can you go into a little bit of where we left off at the last expansion with Wrathion? And I want to do a little bit of a backstory on Wrathion, where he was and who he created him. First of all, he's the supposed spawn of Deathwing. And I say supposed for a reason because we're going to get into that. The three known children of Deathwing is Onyxian, Nefarian, and Sibelian. Now, we know Onyxian and Nefarian, we've killed them twice. They're dead. Hopefully won't be resurrected for a third time. Sibelian was actually over in Outland. And he went over there whenever the Black Dragonfly came over. He's still there when Deathwing barely escaped whenever Gruul started going on his rampage. And Sibelian is actually right now like the biggest adversary to Gruul, the Dragon Slayer, if you remember that raid from BC times. Now, a little bit of backstory on Deathwing himself. When Khazgroth, which was one of the Titans, was setting up and saying, okay, here, we're going to go ahead and give a little bit of power to each one of the aspects and let them help guide Azeroth. It was a very important thing he said to Deathwing. He says, Khazgroth begins most conflicts by summoning an elemental. Rephrase that. He actually went up to Deathwing and said, my blessing upon you will seem humble compared to those who have been bestowed upon the others, the managing of time, of life, of dreams, and of magic. And he said to Deathwing, I will offer you the earth. Goes on a couple of more things. He says, but what really kind of hits home, he says, here's when true strength comes from deep places within the world and within oneself. And if you take that and look at what Deathwing was obviously the aspect of the earth. He was entrenched in the bowels of the earth, the deep places, the places that were never seen. And he was corrupted by the old gods. And it's very important to understand that because every single Black Dragonfly egg from that point forward has been corrupted. They've all had that taint of the old gods inside them. So we get to Wrathion. Now, where does he come from? This is where I say he's sort of the child of Deathwing. Yes, the egg did come from, actually, it was Nixandra, which was a black dragonflight dragon. But what happened was we go out to Badlands, and as we're questing, I think it's like mid-level 40s, we come across this little goblin standing back in a corner with this black dragon inside this like red sphere that's pulsating. And her name is Rhea. And as we go on through this, we found out that this goblin is actually Rhea Straza, is one of the red dragonflight. She was sent there from Alex Straza to try to find the cure for the black dragonflight's corruption. She forced Nixandra to lay eggs over and over and over again, which is kind of ironic, especially when you look at what was done to Alex Straza with the use of the Dragon Soul. You know, the Dragon Soul was created by Deathwing to try to take out the Burning Legion, never put a little bit of himself into it, therefore became the strongest, then gave that to the orcs, and the orcs enslaved the red dragonflight to fly them around. So, you know, and they forced Alex Straza to keep laying eggs to make more dragons. So for her to turn around and do that to another one of her, you know, may not have been her clutch sister, but still to do that to another dragon, it kind of shows you how deep the pain goes with her. So we stole the 3 eggs from Nixandra, and we go and capture a whole bunch of the little black dragon whelps carcasses. Then after we get all this, she sends us over to this little goblin. I'm sorry, the gnome standing over here. And his name is Hyronius Blam. What we will do is he creates 3 black dragon eggs. But to remove the corruption, we get sent out to another part of the Badlands. You know how these questing goes. We go down to this dig site. Now, most people might actually remember this quest because it was the one we had to go down and turn the little stone golems to form the different laser beams. We get the orb that comes from this. We take it back. It's a Titan orb, and it attempts to remove the corruption, and actually successfully removes the corruption from the egg. So, yeah, we have the first uncorrupted black dragonfly egg in millennia. Rhea then takes this egg and says, all right, I'm going to go hide this in its clutch. We're going to leave it there, and everything's going to be fine. You know, we're going to see how this turns out. But you notice as Rhea goes through, she goes, oh, I think I'm just going to put the egg right here. It makes a really, like, animated way to put it right in the middle. Here comes Deathwing. He's pissed, kills Rhea, kills the black egg. We're done. We find a note that's left over. That's all we see. The note reads that Rhea knew this was going to happen the entire time. She sacrificed herself in one of her own eggs. But Hyronius Blam had already taken the egg and sent it away. It's hidden. That is the end of the quest line. And nothing is ever said about it again. We find out, what is it, like 6 months later or so, when we started in a Dragon Soul. And as we get in a Dragon Soul, we have the legendary quest line for the Rogue's Daggers. So we get sent out to the Twilight Highlands. When we get there, we find out the Ravenhold thieves had stolen the egg, and we had to head there to get it. So us and another red dragon, we head out to the Ravenhold, and we find out not only is the egg there, but the egg is hatched, and it's Wrathion. Now, he is free of all the corruption, but one thing that most people in the lore don't understand, and they didn't really understand it until he said it, is that inside the eggs, they are completely conscious. From the moment that egg is inseminated and laid, that dragon knows what is going on through the egg. So he hears all the different factions going, well, if we use him to do this, if we use it to do this, and basically was going to make him a prisoner and make him do our bidding. So Wrathion's there, and of course he's pissed off. You know, he says, you know, you come here looking for the egg and you don't think you found it, but yet I'm standing right in front of you. He's got this messiah complex that, you know, that's going on, that he's going to save the world. So, finishing all that up, we go into, you know, we kill, Deathwing. We help kill all the other Black Dragonflight's members for Wrathion. He's happy. He says all the other Dragonflights are dead. Now, mind you, there's still the one in Outland. He's not a bronze dragon, Wrathion, so he doesn't know. Maybe he can't sense the other dragons that may be off the planet. But there is still one other black dragon. He is still in he's still in Outlands right now. So Wrathion comes into Mist of Pandaria. When we meet up with him, we get the whole, you know, quest line for the cloaks. Now, we help him gather all these ancient artifacts, and he says he sees something major coming down the line. And what we come to find out is he sees the return of the Burning Legion into Azeroth. and he can save everybody. He's going to save it all by himself. He's going to take care of it, but he needs your help. Go gather all these different parts, remember the tablets and the little seals and everything you had to bring back to him. So each step he's grabbing more and more of this information. He says he needs you to prove himself. So the entire time you're running around doing his bidding, and he's conniving. He's a little peckerhead, in my opinion, that's conniving behind everybody's back. So we go and do this whole thing. We find out that he has to fight his inner fear. And his inner fear, when he's out there in Townlong Steppes, we find out the person he has to fight is Deathwing himself in human form. So he's Father, he ends up defeating him. But if you see the transition from Wrathion, from, like I said, he had that power hungry at the end of Cataclysm, but you watch him urge and really start to go for that power. You can see the hunger forming in his eyes, that, he's turning into his father. The corruption that maybe had been removed from the old gods, in my opinion, this is where my tinfoil hat goes on, the corruption was there influenced by the old gods, but it was already deep inside the Black Dragon flight. I think that's, and you can see that transition through Wrathion as he happens to go through that. At the end of Mist of Pandaria, we defeat Garrosh and we put him on trial. And if you haven't read the War Crimes, I'm going to tell you right now, spoiler alert, you might want to go ahead about another 10 minutes until I shut my ugly mouth. Wrathion is there throughout the entire trial. We see Garrosh go through the trial. We see everything that's going on. Anduin, at the last second, finds out that Wrathion's behind getting, I forget what the name of the Bronze Dragon is, but getting the Bronze Dragon involved with the time slip, getting Garrosh to escape. It's Wrathion that's planning everything behind it. At the last second, he escapes with Garrosh and the other Bronze Dragon to Draenor, and that is the last time we've heard of him since Mist of Pandaria. They said he was going to be very instrumental with Warlords of Draenor. We haven't seen him. Right. Where's he at? He's not showed up in any quest lines. He's not showed up in any cinematics. There's no hints to where he might be, except for one thing. When we're leveling at the 97 to 99, we go into Spires of Iraq. And as we're in there, we go to Admiral Taylor's garrison to find out that it is nothing but dead ghosts. All these ghosts are standing there. And, we do the whole quest line in there. Nothing said, but there's a little locked chest inside the inn. Now, this is where it blew my mind because, like I said, I knew... I was totally taken away about how we created Wrathion. I never expected... I never put two and two together until I started researching this. But what's cool about it is they get it in this little... We go and find the key. It's over by the mines. We come back to the inn. We open it up, and there's Admiral Garrison's logs. Now, we get these logbooks on our quests all the time, and we never read them. So after we open the coffer, we find it. A couple other things, just telling about the daily stuff that's going on with the garrison's day-to-day. But there's three very important things that I want to read out of this log, and it's day 12, day 15, and day 27. At day 12, it says, Sir Harris arrived in the town hall today with the Black Prince Wrathion in tow. Hard to tell who was the captive and who was the captor. Wrathion seeks asylum in my garrison, claims he did something to cheese off the ogres. Harris barked that Wrathion is a fugitive from the Alliance, which we all know he is. I mean, Anduin did kind of lay him out there. Lady Claudia and her troops fanned out with guns drawn. Tense situation. Told Wrathion he was welcomed as our guest, provided he stay under house arrest and full-time guard. Message dispatched to the king. Black Dragon now ensconced in my garrison. What could go wrong? We go to day 15. Day 15 says, barracks complete, armory in progress. Huge shipment of resources arrived this morning. A gift from Wrathion to build us the inn. How does he do that? He went to speak with Wrathion and told me to keep an eye on Ithiel. Ithiel is one of the lead followers of Admiral Taylor and his garrison. And he goes, I don't trust either of them. Then we get to day 27, and this is where it comes to a complete and utter stop. And again, has pissed me off. Day 27 says Wrathion maybe wanted to take over Admiral Taylor's garrison. So what Wrathion does is he actually convinces Taylor to keep an eye on Ithiel. Meanwhile, Wrathion goes to all the guards and tells all the guards inside the garrison, keep an eye on Taylor, and convinces them. So he's paid off the guards, and he's convinced Taylor that Ephiel's the one he's looking after. But meanwhile, he doesn't like Taylor. We find out that Taylor returned to the garrison to find that the garrison was in chaos, Ephiel in charge, and Wrathion has been nowhere to be found, with half of the followers taken with him. And this is before all chaos breaks loose and the entire garrison falls. But that is the only 3 lines that I've read anywhere in this entire expansion of where Wrathion is. Me personally, I think we're going to find him in Tanaan Jungle. I think as we start heading into the Hellfire Citadel, you're going to see, and this is, again, tinfoil hat, you're going to see Wrathion wanting to get that fell energy that the orcs have so adamantly said, I don't want. Because Wrathion wants nothing more than, just like Gul'dan, they're looking for that ultimate power. And you could just see that hunger starting in him from whenever he hatched up until now. He wants to control everything. And if I honestly, I'm not sure where they're going to take this, and I do hope that we find Wrathion because it was a promise that we were going to know more about him. But I have a big feeling we're going to find him somewhere in Tanaan Jungle. Haven't seen any quest lines to prove that, yes or no, but
How will the foul magic affect the dragon?
we don't know. I mean, they're
Because would they have any would the pitmasters have any control over him?
well, that's the thing too, because when you look at, if you talk to Wrathion and anything you've ever talked to him about, he's always thought himself to be better than everybody else, to be
Agreed.
stronger than everybody else.
Right.
So what's not to make him think that he can control this foul magic? I mean, the orcs thought they can control it,
Right.
you know, with as much power as they had, and they were nowhere a contender controlling that magic whatsoever. What's not to think that he thinks he can run it over?
So what if, now I like your idea, I don't really think we're going to see him in Tanaan. You made me think that it's possible that there's even something larger in the works here. There's always the one guy that's controlling things, and they always point you in the direction of others because they make you think that somebody else is in control. What if this goes on for into the next expansion, and then you find out that all of a sudden this tiny little dude with daddy and world issues was the one that was really the cause for Draenor and for the assault from the Iron Horde, because he was back there pulling the strings with Garrosh and daddy.
A manipulator.
Here's what I know. When I did the legendary quest with Wrathion, every time there was a different cutscene where I had to follow him somewhere to give him something, and then I would get this and that and all these things, I was always very afraid that something was going to happen, and I would brace myself because he seemed very fake. And I think Blizzard did a really good job. He kind of came off as overly happy to help you.
Right.
Here, come over
Right.
here and let me give you this thing. And I'm like, nobody wants to help anybody.
Well,
not in this scenario.
Here,
What
let
does
me
it
give
say?
you
Oh, go ahead.
I was just say, here, let me give you this eye that's going to watch everything
Right, like,
you do.
why
Just
are
keep
you
it
all of a
with
sudden
you.
trying to help me? I'm just a
Right,
lonely hero
yeah.
that's I'm trying to be in your club, and you're bestowing. And the way that they did his, the cutscenes and the way it made you really leery of him and distrusting.
Right.
That's why I had asked, we did a pre-show, and I was like, isn't he the bad guy? Because
Well, I
I
was
got
watching-
that very bad guy vibe from him.
I was watching the movie Goodfellas, and he comes, one of the main mob guys, he comes out and says, he goes, I ain't afraid of the one that has a gun to my face. I'm afraid of the one that calls me for a meeting and wants to help me.
That's one of my favorite
He says
movies.
that's
by
the
way.
one I'm afraid of.
Agreed.
And quote, you guys can quote me if I'm quoting the wrong movie, but that was set in a mob movie because
It
I've
was,
watched
right.
a lot of mob movies lately. But yeah, I heard that and I thought that's scary because it is the friend. It is the friend that wants to come help you.
It
You
is.
know, and he's like, I'll be there for you, and
And that was,
I'll
I'm
give you
pretty
some
sure it
money.
was Godfather, not Goodfellas.
No, it was Goodfellas. I
Are you
remember the
sure?
scene now. Yeah, it was. It was at the end of the movie, and the main actor, the young guy, was the cause of all of them to get in trouble.
Yeah, I remember that. It was played by Ray Liotta, but I remember a
Yeah,
scene
Ray
from
Liotta.
Godfather
That was-
where he said the guy that comes to you to want to help set up.
No,
maybe I was
no,
thinking something
no. He was actually in that scene. He was actually
Oh,
talking
okay.
about a specific person.
Okay.
What's really blowing my mind, though, is we've actually had one other person in lore that has come up to us and said, hey, I want to help. And that was Medivh. And if anybody who knows anything about Medivh, he was actually the embodiment of Sargeras, because Sargeras went up against Aegwynn. Aegwynn defeated the avatar of Sargeras, and she's the only one to take on Sargeras head-to-head and actually win. And right before he died, his avatar died, the soul escaped and entered Aegwynn's body into the fetus that was in her, which was Medivh.
Is this
And
the
we
fetal
find-
possession situation we
It
talked
is.
about
It's the
several
whole
episodes ago?
fetal possession. Right. But this is what started. And remember how happy-go-lucky Medivh was to help whenever it was back in, when you had orcs and humans, when it was, the starting of the Burning Legion. Hey, guys, I'm here. I can do whatever you need me to do. I'll do this. I'll do that. And meanwhile, he's the one that brought them all over. So who's not to say that this isn't Sargeras' second attempt to make his way back?
Well-
A human wasn't powerful enough to take this.
I've never heard the
responsibility.
Wrathion theory. I'm pretty interested.
This is the first
to
time
see-
I've ever heard this.
I'm
This
a little
is-
bit. My mind's a little blown, and I'm like,
Yeah.
there's so much to think about. I think that
It sounds like Blizzard.
true,
But
and
look,
we would never
something
see
that-
Wrathion coming ever.
No, you took this egg that was corrupted, and you stripped everything out of it. And and not to get too philosophical religious, but a lot of religions believe that if you open yourself up too much, that bad demons and bad
Yeah.
stuff can enter you. What if when
They
we
stripped the
ripped
soul of what he was, and it was
and
forced.
something else sucked it up?
I like that idea.
That is and that is an opportunity for Sargeras to make the return back to us.
I think he'll be in Spires. That's just me, though.
I don't, because I do see him coming through. I do see him coming out of this. He's got to
We've
be.
already
in this
been through
expansion.
Spires, and we haven't seen him.
We
Right.
haven't been through all the Spires. There's a lot, that's an entire mountain, and there's air, there's things in the sky.
But you're saying there would be additions made to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you in future
There's
content.
a whole island we haven't even explored in Warlords of Draenor yet.
Well,
Well, could you think it could be an old god controlling them?
Possibly.
I think
Like in the time where Yoda walks into the room and he's like, "Hey, Governor Palpatine," he goes, or should I say Sidious? You know what I mean?
Now, there's nothing to say that on Earth, on Draenor rather, there are no old gods. The old gods are trapped inside Azeroth. There are 7 of them. We've
Right.
killed one of them. That's the one that we had the heart. That was the only old god that has ever been killed. The rest of them are still entrapped. Who's not to say he isn't, sitting there being trapped by, an old god?
Right.
Because, these are the ones that it was the Titans that trapped him in there, and it was Sargeras that wants to let him out. So ultimately, it is Sargeras still pulling the strings. But how is he making his way back in? I honestly think that we're going to find a deeper tie-in with Wrathion. He's either going to lay low until the end of this expansion and pop up and be a big thing during the next expansion. And for those of you who don't think that Blizzard doesn't plan this shit out, we're talking Cataclysm was when his quest line was installed, to going into Warlords of Draenor, and if it wasn't for Wrathion, we would not be here. It was Wrathion's, everything was about Wrathion, starting from Cataclysm, not Garrosh.
Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to have you guys give us feedback. Comment on the video and
Right.
tell us what your theory crafting is. What do you think is going to happen? Where do you think Wrathion falls in? It kind of sounded like a soap opera commercial announcer. He'll
I'm
have
not
the
gonna lie, I'm
surgery,
not-
but will
yeah.
he live?
I'm not gonna lie. I would love to see a foul dragon.
I love
I would
foul
love to see that. I would love to see the blood coming from his mouth and just I would just love to see him just that would be really cool to end the expansion that way, him flying off and blowing up Stormwind.
Him going
It'd be
down,
awesome.
because we know that the blood of Manoroth will be there, him swiping down, sucking up the blood, flying off and transforming as he's flying off.
And the end expansion ends.
That's it. End of
I'm
it.
in, man.
So-
I'll poop myself.
We're gonna
I'm
try.
putting-
We're gonna try
Well,
this
next week.
transition again because we're over time. Because I tried to transition out and they pulled me right back in. We're gonna try it again. Everybody, leave your comments and tell us what you think. Interact with us. Post a comment on the video. If you're listening to us on iTunes, then go to the page and tell us what you think. Where do you think Wrathion falls into all of this? What kind of things would you like to see? Tell us put your tinfoil hat on and get involved. If you want to see something specific for Lycan to cover and possibly Theorycraft on, just email him at lycan@pwnecast.net. We are going to move on because we are extremely over time by 20 minutes. So we are going to get into the weekend. Wow. These guys, I can't deal with them. They ignore me when I say that we're over time and they just keep going, and it's all right. I just sit here and smile.
I go first?
Huh?
I go first? So when we're looking about the lore about Wrathion,
So, Friza, I know that are you still taking your little small mini for a while?
I'm taking until next season. Nothing personal against Blizzard, nothing like that. Not hating. I wasted too much time doing twos. I almost hit 2,000 games played in PvP, not
How
including
do
my
you
RBGs.
kill that which has no life? You don't.
Exactly. So I just decided next season I'm going to do a lot of things differently. So I'm going to give myself a break till then because I will be going back to full-time. So sometimes you need a nice little break.
Good.
I'm waiting on Season 2 to come out. If Season 2 takes forever, then I'll come back early.
Good.
But really hoping Season 2 comes out, and that'll be my fresh opener.
Good.
Phil, you pull the power cord.
What?
How do you kill that which has no
Oh,
life?
I'm like,
You pull the
no.
power cord.
Yeah.
That scared me.
I don't know. She thought the stream went down.
Last night,
Oh, I know.
I was doing something, and I was in a dungeon last night, and I was healing, and I kicked my monitor, and the monitor went off in the middle of healing, and I had a meltdown. Anyway, Lycan, what did you do this weekend, Mal?
Spent 2.5 hours beating my head against Superior to Choreograph last night.
That's rough.
Yeah. And it's nothing against our raid team. Our raid team really is coming along. And I keep saying this, you go, oh, you're still in High Mall. Yeah, we're still in High Mall. We're not a raiding guild. We didn't come from a raiding guild, but we are making the progress that we are making. And it's nice to see them coming along. I think the furthest we had them down was in the 30s. A couple more attempts, I think we've got it. I think we've ironing out what we had wrong, and I think we'll handle it.
Hopefully tomorrow. We'll see. Hots, what did you do this week?
I did RB. Go ahead.
I just want to give a real quick shout out. Insane Pain Game, which is the guy that on the Podcast Daily Quest, he does the
He produces all our pet battle
videos.
content. Yeah.
I did beat him in one pet battle. It was kind of fun. Then he whipped my ass.
He gave
quite
me 2 PvP
more time.
pets that are really good for PvP. I haven't had a chance to test them out, but yeah, he did.
Yeah, but he did give me my Ethereal Soul Trader that I've wanted for a long time and cut me a very, very good deal on it. So I wanted to make sure I gave him a shout out.
Like
So.
Ruined my birthday present for him too.
I know.
That's so funny. Hots, what'd you do this week?
I did RBGs. With y'all, I messed around with in 2s and 3s with Weenie some. Other than that, I've just been having fun. I try to help them with Imperator.
You
Then
already
I
came
come
in the
in-
end when we were already ticked off, so it didn't really.
Yeah, I came in, they're like, do you need a rundown? I was like, and I'm good. Like, it just ran back in my head, 'cause, you know, y'all are about 2 months behind me, you know? But
Well,
dude,
we're
just-
still
they did-
rating, so I
Yeah.
mean, you're not. Just throwing that out there.
Well, I mean, you know, I can
Are
only...
you even still on
do-
your raid team with your guild?
No.
No, the guild.
I got demoted. I was a raider. I was actually looking at an officer spot, and then I was like, I might. And, but I think whenever Hellfire Citadel comes out, I'm gonna have to be all like, so, I got this really good boomkin, and pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, I got the pretty good gear, so I think I'll take that spot right there.
It's too funny.
So, but yeah, no, it's been a relaxed week for me, really.
Well, my week in WoW has consisted of doing a lot of guild events and arranging. We're trying to tighten up the RBGs to prepare for the second season, so we can go in and push rating pretty much in the beginning. Leveling the monk and setting up. We're doing a series of guild fun events. We do raffles. We do a lot of stuff with the guild to try to inspire everybody to come together in the guild. To those that would normally talk to each other, those that are just really quiet, they might not feel like they have a place. We're over 800 members now, which is insane. A lot of people have maxed guilds, but none of those people talk to each other. You go in this guild and it says, "Oh, I have 999 people in my guild," and not one person talks to each other. It's just silence. So we do a lot of things, but we've been doing a lot of BlizzCon. Oh, you like a BlizzCon? I'm sure somebody's gonna be mad at me about that.
There went our Asian viewers.
Yeah.
Just slipped out. I blame the energy drink. But we did a lot of good stuff this week in game, a lot of good fun with friends, and then a lot of stuff with not friends because I was ignoring people because I needed some quiet time. But a lot of stuff leading up to BlizzCon, so we're pretty excited about those.
I'm keeping track of all the viewers we've alienated throughout the past season.
You know, it is what it is. But we did have a really, really good episode this week, and over the next couple weeks, we're going to be developing some more segments to get back to the good old helping the players and giving some good, solid advice from everything from raiding to doing random PvP stuff to questing to leveling to doing all that stuff. So it's going to be pretty exciting. So make sure you guys stay tuned. If you need to get a hold of us, don't forget we do have the PDQ, which is the Podcast Daily Quest. News, guides, helpful, some bullshit every now and then when I get on a rant about warlocks. But other than that, it's got a lot of really good stuff for you guys to check out. If you're interested in being a part of the PDQ team, make sure you also check out the job listings on the site as well. If you need to get a hold of Frieza, you can try his battle tag, but since he's taking a small break, it's probably not going to get you very far. But you can get a hold of him on the Facebook page at Pwnecast and shoot him an inbox. If you need to get a hold of Lycan, you can get a hold of him at lycan@pwnecast.net. And everybody already has Hots for Shots' BattleNet courtesy of Lycan.
1796.
Right.
I actually did you the other day. Someone was like, "What's your battle tag?" And I was like,
Where's
Lycan at?
Hots for Shots does stream. He also works with Epiphany Gaming, but you can find him at Hots for Shots at Pwnecast.net or at his Facebook page, Hots for Shots, and Twitch. Everything's Hots for Shots, so it's not really that difficult to remember. Me, everybody knows how to get a hold of me. You can find me at Bell at Pwnecast.net, but I'm literally all over Azeroth, so if you need to find me, it's really not that. I'm not saying I'm easy, but I mean,
I'm just saying you have to enter like.
I'm just saying, like, I'm pretty reachable, but
There was that one time Gold Shire, but
sometimes I forget if I'm easy or cheap. I don't really remember which side of the fence I stand on because you can't really be both. I can be easy but not cheap, or cheap but not easy. I'm not really sure what side of the fence it just like tacos.
No.
So
the fun ones are easy.
You can be
shower me with tacos and you got me for life. Really, that's the way to keep me is tacos. Sure.
you can be easy but not cheap. But with how easy it is to make gold, it's being cheap is pretty easy nowadays. I'm just saying.
There's so many jokes that I don't even know. I don't even know where to go from there. I'm just gonna fade away. But thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching this week and listening. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube. If you're listening on iTunes and you want to check out the video version, we are on YouTube. Just search Pwnecast and you'll find us there. And if you need anything from us, we're around here somewhere. But thank you so much for joining us every week. We appreciate it as always. And we're gonna get the hell out of here. Don't do that. No.
I did that.
Oh, but that was even worse. That was like that, hey, kind of.
Hey.
Okay,
new
so
toy has
normally-
entered.
Normally,
It's for
Pope
both,
does
yeah.
the crazy
Oh.
things. You know,
That's really
I
good.
left that on somebody's voicemail recently. They weren't answering my Skype call, and I was like, and it was really important. I was trying to get a hold of them for some reason. I called them on their phone and left that voicemail. But we're gonna get out of here because that's entirely not important to the show whatsoever. Thanks for joining us. We're gonna get out of here. No, I don't even know what that was.
That could be taken so
I didn't mean put your taco in my face. I just meant that I like tacos.
well.
Steve,
This is the internet we're talking about.
With tacos and lettuce. Hello.